So the first thing you want to do is find out how big of a piece you need. Are you just going to do a little section or the whole thing? I'm going to do the whole thing. So I went out and I bought a 36-inch long piece, and I'm going to make mine 33 and a half. I think 5 inches will be fine. I have a factory warning label right here. I'm gonna notch this out around the warning label. You may have one, you may not. Yours is going to be totally different than mine. I want to cover this hole, these 4 holes, that screw hole, and I will be making a new slot here for the wires. It'll be all in one piece. Okay, so for you, you may be doing just a little teeny cover up. Buy the size material that's suitable for you. This is 1/8 inch thick ABS plastic, and this sheet is 2 foot by 3 foot. I am only going to use 5 inches, but I've got plenty for other projects. You know, again, if you're just covering a little area, buy yourself a 1 foot by 6 inch piece, cost effective. Cutting it is plain and simple. Mark it and then a knife. I'm going to do all my marks from the back. I have a textured side, and then this is the smooth side. I'm not going to use a pen. When I go to make all the hole marks, I'm going to use a knife to make my marks. So, first thing, 5 inches. We're going to get ourselves a nice straight edge. So this cut is very, very nice. And I'm just going to hold it in place with some clamps. Okay, that looks good. Make sure you have a nice, brand new, sharp knife. You only need to score it the first time kind of light, second time a little deeper, third time a little deeper, and that should be it. And you can just put right on the edge. Okay, and we have our nice 5 by 5 piece. Okay, all right, 33 and a half wide. Now, when you're cutting it, I'm cutting it on the back side. So I'm going to make this my top right, okay? And this is where you could use a marker or something, highlight that, hey, this is the corner I need to cut out when you're flipping it over. So the top right is now my bottom right. That way you're not cutting it in the wrong spot. Because I have to crack this out, I'm going to give it a few extra scores. So just grab your pliers, start wiggling it back and forth, and eventually it will start cracking down the line and pop it out. If you get a little piece in the corner, we'll just cut this out square. For the holes, for the cables, okay, so what I did, just so you can see, is this was my 2.5 over. That's where the cable's gonna be. I came up 1 3/4 and 3 inches, and right here in the dead center on that line, I'm gonna drill 3 1/2-inch holes, and then take the knife and cut the edges off the holes. Again, that doesn't have to be perfect because I just have cables coming through it. Then from here down, I'm gonna make a slice and crack it. So I can bend this, slip it over the cables, and it pops into place. Some of these drill bits I have, grab that, especially the big one with these flutes right here, they just, when it goes through that 1/8 inch plastic, it just grips, and you got to kind of manhandle it and let the drill just keep going and tear through it. But anyways, I have 3 holes. Now I'm just going to clean that up and make my slice right there. Again, these holes don't have to be perfect. I have 3 cables going through there, and between the cables being all twisted, you're not going to know if that line is straight or not. Okay, and then it's just a matter of working it back and forth. Now this is cracked, and when I go to put it over, I'm just going to expand that like this, and you can put it over the cables, and when it closes, you barely even see the seam. But now this whole panel is removable. Last but not least, let's make our holes. Now I went with 1/2 inch black 6/32 fine thread 6/32 screws to make the holes in the aluminum. This is a 6/32 drill tap. Okay, so you can see the teeth right here, the threads, and then you have the drill part on the front. We will not be using this to drill these holes. We're going to be using the same size drill bit as the front of this, just to get the initial location. And then I'm going to go one size bigger than the threads, so the screw goes easily through the hole, okay, and has like either a 32nd or a 64th of play for expansion and contraction. Now that you have your drill bit size, we're going to start with a 1/8, and then we're going to finish off with a 5/32. Okay, so to find where you want all your holes, I am going to mark this on the back again because you don't want to scratch up the front. And I am going to measure this section. I'm not going to measure this section. This is going to end here, and then wherever down here, I will just throw a screw in because it's small and it's under the plate. The center of the hole is going to be 3/8 of an inch in from the sides. Now I am going to use my straight edge one more time, and that's, I'm going to make just a score or a mark, not just very, very light so I can see it. That's going to be my 3/8 inch in. Then wherever I decide to measure this way to make a mark, I already have the 3/8 mark going this way. All the way down. Okay, so now I have a 3/8 line on the bottom and top. Now we're going to measure 3/8 from the ends, and then we'll do a little bit, find out how far we want these holes. We're only going to mark one side, and then we'll square up. So you usually want to make your holes between 5 and 7 inches apart. If you have a nice straight front end, you may get away with a little more. I'm going to make mine no further than 7, no closer than 5. But if you had a curved front end, you'd want to make them at least 5 inches or maybe 4 to get that curve. If you go longer, you might not get the curve you want. Okay, so for 26, if you divide that in half, it's 13. And 13, 7 times 7 is 14. So we're looking, it's going to be about 6.5 inches a piece. And how you lay out your screws is totally up to you. And a 16th. So we'll just make it at 6.5. We'll come over 6.5 from here. Transfer it down to the bottom. So now here's where I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 screws. And they are 6.5 inches apart approximately, which is perfect because I want it somewhere between 5 and 7. Now with your smaller 1/8 drill bit, just drill them all out. Okay, now we're going to go to the bigger drill bit. So now we have all our holes drilled except for back here. I know on my boat I have a hole over here somewhere, so I'm not going to drill this one yet. I'll drill this one when it's on the boat and mounted. Well, first things first, let's take off my old covers. So now you can really see why I wanted to cover this. I have a hole here because I used to have live scope here. This was from one of my first mounted screens, which was up here. And now I have the mounted screen over here, and then extra screw holes from different mounts. So it's time to get rid of all that unsightly stuff and put a good looking cover on it. So now we're just going to use the self-tap and drill bit once you get it to where you want it. And I'm just going to put one hole here, then I want to put a screw in it, and from that point I'll level it across, put another screw down there, drill up my other holes, and we should be good to go. Now again, When you use this, I've told you this in other videos, when it pops through and you start hitting the threads, just gently do the threads, don't keep it all going at once. Okay, it popped through. Put one screw in there to hold it in place so it doesn't slide around. And this actually looks nice and straight across right where it is. Now I'm just gonna mark the other holes because metal shavings are gonna fall down there. I gotta remove the plate anyways. I have one hole I'm gonna put over here. Okay, so there you have it. Nice clean look. If you want, you can round over corners or something like that. I'm not. If I find it's sharp or something like that, I can just sand it later or trim it. Right now I'm not worried about it. But hey, this is just an idea of what you can do to your boat, no matter if it's just a little patch or a huge patch like I just did, just to cover your front end and make it look nice and presentable again, especially if you did what I did and have many holes. So make your project your own. Until next time, take care and tight lines.